Hi everyone, welcome back to Crafting at Whimsy Wonderland. My name is Stacy. I have a project for you. It's kind of a twofer project. I had got a bunch of these wooden blocks from Hobby Lobby. They were on clearance for $1.74, but I think they even cost me less than that because there was a special sale going on clearance items. They're from the wedding department. They're normally $10 or $7, but I got them for $1.74. They're distressed on the edges, but it's a solid piece of wood. So it says gifts and cards. I tried to scrape some off with a razor blade. That really didn't work. So what I did is I just sanded it down. Then I painted another layer of this kind of tan khaki color on underneath of it, and for that I used Folk Art Home Decor chalk paint in oatmeal, and I got that at Joann's on clearance a while back. And so I just sanded it down so I wouldn't see these letters through because they're a little bit glossy. I thought it was vinyl, but it's not. So cleaned it all up, painted on a layer of the brown, and I sanded that down, and that took out any last little bits of the lettering. And then I painted it with my base color. Okay, now this is going to be a twofer, and I'm going to show you how to get two signs inexpensively cut from vinyl if you have a vinyl cutter of some sort, like a Cricut, or I use my brother's Scan and Cut. So I cut out my vinyl using inexpensive contact paper from the Dollar Tree. I like to make my stencils out of that because they stick down and you don't have to worry so much about bleeding. So I painted the back a background color, and when I take the stencil off, the background color is what's going to stay. So my lettering and my bunny are going to end up being black. And this is going to be more of a farmhouse style look, so I'm okay with the black and white. Okay, so I will paint over these letters. But this is the vinyl that I cut out on my machine. Now this one, let me see if I can turn it. This was what was around this. These letters came out of here. So I peeled this piece off first, very carefully, making sure that all of the letters stayed behind on the backing. I hope this is making sense. And then I stuck the whole vinyl piece down. I drew a little line to show where I wanted to center my bunny, and then I peeled off all of the little centers of the letters, the P's, the E's, and O's, and an S and the A. I peeled those on and stuck them down. So once I got all of those stuck down, I made sure everything is good and stuck. This is going to be the reverse of this. So when I paint this, what I paint over the holes will become my new color. And then, so it'll be opposite. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Anyway, the first thing I need to do, I'm going to set this aside for a second. I'm going to start with this one because it's going to take a little extra. I'm going to take, I painted it, by the way, with the Waverly chalk paint in white that I got at Walmart. And my base coat is this paint. So I'm going to go ahead and paint lightly over my stencil. And this is going to kind of act as a sealer to my stencil and help keep the final coat from bleeding under there. If the white bleeds under, it's okay because my base coat is white. Does that make sense? I hope so. Anyway, so I'm painting that, and that's going to need to dry completely before I move on with my next step. So that's why I wanted to do this one first. So I'm going to set this aside to dry. And I could choose to do any color I want over the top of this. But I'm going to choose to do white, but I want the sides to stay black. So I'm going to grab my blue painter's tape, and I'm going to set this up on its edge. I just don't want to go over the edge, so I'm going to go ahead and mark this off. Okay, and then I'm going to take my paint and I'm going to paint the entire surface. And I'm not sure if I'm going to go for a complete coverage. I'm going to see how I feel about it as it goes on. Okay, I need to let that dry, and I think I'm going to go ahead and put a second coat over the top of that as soon as it's dry. For this one, I wanted it to be really Eastery, so I'm going to paint it with pink. This is some more of the Folk Art Home Decor chalk paint. I got it at Joann's. This type of stencil, I peel it off as soon as I can. So moment of truth time. Peel slowly. And kind of from an angle works best. Come on, honey. Alright, I got a little bit of peeling and I got a little bit of mess on the edges, but that's okay. Kind of unhappy with how that bunny turned out, but I have an idea to fix it, so it'll just make it a little more artsy. Oh, for Peeps' sake. And as soon as it's dried completely, I can go back in and kind of fix it up a little bit. But I think I'm going to take a little bit of paint right now and try to paint that bunny back on there, just so it can start to dry with the rest of it. I'm going to put another coat of white over this other one so that it can dry nice and pretty. I am going to sand and distress this, so I'm not trying to get complete coverage, but there's just some spots where it just didn't cover well. Just needs to dry, and then I will be back to show you the finished product. Okay, I am going to attempt to take these letters off. I have to be extra careful. That one. I'm going to take my heat tool and dry this up a little bit. I'm going to wait for both sides to dry completely, then I'm going to do some distressing. So I'll be back. I am back. These have dried up, so I'm going to take some sandpaper, and this is 100 grit sandpaper. You buy it in packs or cut into sheets this size, like a fourth of a sheet, at the Dollar Tree. And this is the black and white one that's going to be farmhouse. And I'm just going to scuff sand and kind of even out some of this mess. Because it's mostly white that's messed up, I am just taking the paint that's in the lid of my paint bottle, dipping a tiny little brush in there, and just kind of going over the bad spots of white. Guy's pretty much done. I kind of like how it turned out. Actually, I kind of like how they both turned out, to tell you the truth. Alright. Now, if you wanted to put a tail on them, you absolutely could, but I want it to look like Peeps. Actual Peeps. I'm going to use a bamboo skewer. For the pink one, I'm going to use black paint. And I'm just dipping my bamboo skewer. And it's got to have some eyes. Peeps have little eyes. So there's my pink bunny. And then on the black bunny, I'm going to have to use my white paint. There we go. There you have it, my two, for Peeps' sake, signs for Easter. I don't do a lot of decorating for Easter. I do more for spring, so these will go in with the spring. And then tune in a couple of days for my next video, because I'm going to paint a spring sign on the back side of these so that it can be usable throughout the whole season. I don't like to have decorations that for only one thing if they have the ability to do something else. Now, I did say I was going to doodle on these little guys, and I might do that, but right now I'm liking the way it is, and I need to get some new Sharpies that are good and sharp and wet. So anyway, let me know what you think of this project and if you think you might try doing it for yourself. It really is pretty simple. I think I just rushed it a little bit, and that's why I got so much yuck on the stencils. But I do like the way this one kind of tore up a little bit. It just makes it a little more distressed, and I like that. So this is a 2 for sign. You can cut the vinyl out really inexpensively from the Dollar Tree, use it as your stencil, and throw it away. And when you want another one, you can just simply cut it with that same project. So, but you have to have a vinyl cutter. If you don't have a vinyl cutter, you can find some stencils that have a font you like that are the right size. Hobby Lobby and Michael's both have a good selection of stencils, and you could easily print out a peep and cut it out and use that as your stencil. Okay, vinyl cutters just make it a lot easier, and the vinyl sticks down to help keep things from bleeding. I didn't have much that bled under on these. It was mostly where it peeled up because I let the paint dry too much. So let me know what you think of this project in the comment section below. And this has been Crafting at Whimsy Wonderland. Thanks for stopping by. I'll see you next time.